Lives Lost from Hershey, PA. Welcome to the Popko Project podcast. How you guys doing?
Good,
Doing good.
man.
How are you?
Wonderful.
There's a lot of you. I always love when a lot of members come, but also it's an it's an audio nightmare because we're gonna by accident talk over each other at some point. So
Yeah.
just try and be cognizant of that a little bit. I'm not trying to tell you guys to shut the hell up, but it never fails. Even when there's like two guests, it's like we're always talking over one another just because it's the internet. There's a lag. It sucks, but we wouldn't be doing this otherwise. So I'm thankful for the internet. So thank you guys so much for taking the time on a Tuesday evening. And I am late. I got a flat tire coming home from work. It's awesome.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hit a pothole. Yeah,
it's rough.
Well, glad you made it home safely.
I know. And AAA wasn't terrible. It was I got made fun of for my guy who runs a garage. He's like, "You're not gonna do it yourself." I go, "I'm paying for the service. Why would I not take advantage of it?" Plus, I'm in work clothes. I got like a button down, nice pants on. Like I can't be like on the ground jacking up a car.
What's the point of having AAA if you're not going to use it?
Exact. Well, so it's very up to date with technology. So they give you text messages when they're, um, you know, hey, your call has been dispatched. Your service member will be on the way, and I get an update saying Amy will be there shortly. And I'm like, well, this is embarrassing. I'm gonna have
That's
a
funny.
girl come over
Oh,
here
man.
and replace my tire. I'm like, wow, cool for you, good for you. That's awesome, but embarrassing for me.
I like that, dude.
Took her a total of 5 minutes. She did a great job.
Hey, they got all the tools though. They're cheating.
That's the
They got
thing,
all,
like
yeah, they got
I
the
c- I could do it.
drill.
I could do it, but like, yeah, I don't have a drill in my car. I don't
Yeah.
have the nice large jack. So
They come in with like a nuclear reactor to power it, and you're like, oh my god.
yeah,
I should buy all this stuff.
exactly. I just ride around with it in my
Ridiculous.
trunk, kill my gas mileage.
Hopefully it runs the car too.
How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Working hard, hardly working, some combination of the two.
I want to thank you for reaching out. Uh, I will admit though, you told me that you have been associated with Joe Caviston. I hate talking about him on the show because I feel like I do it too much, and he'll act like I talked about him all the time. So he'll get a big head, um, which is great. And I'm glad you guys were associated with that and all that kind of stuff, and the Steamtown Music Awards and all that kind of stuff. But like, I was hoping like you just found it organically, and you're like, "Oh, this is a really great podcast. We want to come on." It's like, no, we just kind of found you by.
Combination of Cavi and So Much Hope Buried was on here.
Mhm.
Our boys in Lyndhurst, who we've toured
Yeah.
with and actually shared, a couple members with here, live members anyway.
Okay.
Ed's filled in on bass for us a couple of times. Mark's filled in on drums for us a couple of times. So,
That band, some of those songs are just so good. Messy is just one of those songs that, like,
Messy's a bop.
I mean, if I had the power, and I want to get you guys to send me some of your tunes, because I host a radio show on Saturday nights on a local station, and you guys aren't in our direct listening area, but I played, like I said, Ed stuff before, and he's not in our area either. But you're close enough, so got some tunes that are clean for radio. I would love to get those from you and play a few of them. But I mean, if I had the power to put, you know, Messy on the radio, like a regular rotation, and even your stuff too, like your music is great as well. There's so much good music out there that are coming from like local bands that I wish I had the power to like push you guys to the next level because I think it's that good.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. There's so much talent in the local music industry right now, like from a regional level down, it's crazy. I know so many bands that are just as good as half of what's on the radio and nobody's heard of them,
Right,
right?
right.
It all comes down to marketing, allocation, and budget. I think a lot of the bands that are on the radio, especially like the more up and coming ones, they have the budget to pay for that radio time or to run that PR campaign that landed them the radio spot, you know. Money makes the industry go round, I like to say.
The world in
And
general, it just
yeah, 100%.
sucks.
It
But I
does.
mean,
But
you're on a podcast right now that's going to reach at least 5 people. So I mean, we're gonna
yeah, buddy.
Ooh,
right to the
baby.
moon right here. I mean,
Hey.
Alan's
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah, I'm way up here.
Alan's
now.
up there.
Only literally though, not metaphorically. Of
Right.
course.
Right. Of course.
There's something like that.
Well, real quick, let's go top to bottom, left to right, or right to left, whatever you guys want to do. Introduce yourselves and what your role is in the band.
I'm Aaron. I play guitar.
I'm
Wait.
Alan. I guess. Oh, sorry.
We
Did you
didn't
have a-
follow the rules. Top is this gentleman by me. Like what's going on here?
Oh yeah,
I was gonna
I don't
say-
think we're all in the same order.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I'm
I
on the
think
farthest left.
Oh, you
on
guys
my
have a
leave it
different
to
screen?
us. Leave it to us to overcomplicate this simple.
Well, if you guys have different screens, it's not your fault.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were
Classic.
seeing the same thing I saw. All right. I'd say guy with glasses, but 3 of you have glasses on. So I don't know how to do this. Just keep going.
Alphabetical order.
Aaron, guitar.
Yep.
Alan would be
Is that
next.
it? Is that
Phonetic.
it?
Alan, Spaceman Alan.
Yeah, I play the drums and I do a little backing vocals from time to time, and some production stuff too. We do a lot of demos. I usually do like a lot of the recording on that, and yeah, get the drums made. That's kind of how we start the songs, and from there it goes to the studio. So we have a pretty good method so
Cool.
far.
I'm Chad. I play bass guitar and I sing sometimes, sing backing vocals.
Cool. And last but not least,
Tanis. I sing and write the music and play guitar occasionally.
very cool, very cool. So tell me a little bit, start things off with like who Lives Lost is, like kind of about your sound, the genre, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, so Lives Lost kind of started in 2020. Alan
Oh, pandemic
moved back.
baby.
Yeah. Aaron and I had a metalcore band with some of our other friends, and I wanted a side project that was more rooted in alternative rock, post-hardcore, pop punk even, a bit of everything, if you will. And I had some song ideas, and I found out my boy Alan was moving back to town. We always wanted to do a project together. It just
Oh, yeah.
never lined up because he has been a transient. He's been all over this East
Whoa.
Coast over the past, decade. And it just didn't line up, and it just kind of finally aligned. He moved back. We got together. We started jamming, started pre-proing, and it birthed our first song, Forward Yesterday. And we've just been grinding at it ever since. We dropped that in 2021. I think we've had in total 20 song releases now, but of those 20 songs, I think only 15 of them are currently on streaming.
How come? Why is that?
Recording quality, quite frankly.
Perfectionists.
Yeah. So early on, I was going for more of like a raw sound, which I still love and honestly would like to like reintegrate into the music a little bit. Because I think a lot of music now it's like over edited, overproduced, overhyped. That's something that I really like about, I talked about So Much Hope Buried earlier. Their new album is very good and produced very well, but there's this like rawness to Derek's voice that's just so beautiful and haunting. And I love that. I think there needs to be more of that in music, quite frankly. But those first couple recordings that we did were like not up to the quality of what we continued to release down the road, more or less. And as we've gotten larger as a band, we're in more algorithms and playlists. And at some point your older music starts to hurt you when it pops up in somebody's, Discover Weekly. They're like, whoa, this is the same band that did Champagne, and this song sounds like this. What am I listening to?
That's fair. Okay.
Um, but they're in our hearts forever. Maybe, who knows, getting a re-recording down the line.
Sure.
We have plenty of music in the tank. I have about 100 songs in my pre-pro library.
Wow.
Whether that's, single parts or fully complete songs is like, I'd say for every 4 incomplete songs, I have 1 complete song right now. Obviously needs some like finishing touches like vocals, leads, whatever. But like structure wise, that's like what I do. I just sometimes get on a roll, I hyper focus, and I write a bunch of stuff all at once.
I was gonna ask you, does that kind of just fall out of you? Like, I mean, that's a lot of music.
It's a lot of years too. I've
Yeah.
been a musician for 10 years. And I'd say of those, I only really started like tracking my own stuff during COVID. That's when I taught myself how to use all the stuff. I had some extra time at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still like no expert. I was just talking to the guys about this before we hopped on here. Like, I've learned so much from Aaron and Alan. They both know so much about like interfaces and recording and just like learning from the people around me. My main focus in the band is writing the songs, not necessarily getting them recorded, right? Although, obviously when we go to a studio, that's what I'm doing, right? But like, as far as what I'm able to do of my own, I'm no, I'm kind of like, oh, what's his name? Well, I'm not Zach Cervini, right? He's like one of the biggest metal and rock producers right now. I'm more like that guy that has done crazy amount of records. That's like, oh, I know nothing about recording. I'm just a taste maker. Like I know what I like to hear type deal. I kind of consider myself the same way. Like I have it all in my head and what I want it to be. It's just like getting there, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. So I know before Alan said he kind of like he's got the drums and kind of that's where it kind of starts. I mean, but would you say that starts with you as far as lyrics and the music kind of falls around it, or how does that work?
So I think it starts to become a song when Alan gets involved with the drums. Like I definitely think that once we get the drums going, that's when it becomes a full song. But like I write most of our music on an acoustic guitar, which is like very percussive within itself. And kind of based off of my strum pattern is kind of how we would base the drums anyway, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, my songwriting starts with just me and an acoustic guitar, and sometimes I get my metronome or I like smack on the surface of the guitar like a beat that I like and start writing with that. I kind of have a weird brain and like I start writing at weird times, right? Like the other day, I clocked out for my lunch and somebody beeped their horn in front of my house in like a weirdly rhythmic way. And I literally grabbed my guitar and I just started writing. And I was just like inspired by that weird, like literally. And I wish I was making this up. This guy like beeped his horn like 8 or 9 times. I think he was waiting for somebody to come out and get in the car or something.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way that he did it, I was like, that's like cool hits for a riff, So
That's
I
cool.
just started
That's funny.
messing with it.
Yeah, I always find it amazing. So it's funny that I kind of host a music focused podcast, and I've never written a song. I couldn't play any single instrument. I kind of have a good ear for what sounds good and what that kind of stuff. But I'm always fascinated with how the process works. Everyone's kind of different, and you're telling me that you heard a horn beep a few times and it struck a chord, no pun intended. So it's just kind of fascinating to me, just because I have no idea how it even like where I would start.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, it's like you're the ultimate outside looking in, right?
Yeah.
Because you're an enjoyer, but you couldn't necessarily, even if you had the itch to write something, you don't have currently the skill set to do it,
Yeah,
right?
no chance.
But it amazes you how it's done, and you're avid enjoyer of that. The
Yeah.
guy I was talking about, I had to look it up in my phone, Rick Rubin,
Oh,
who has
okay.
been a producer credit on literally hundreds of Hughes records, you know.
Yeah.
But he's not musical at all. He just
Well, I
no
wish I
sound.
even had like any kind of working knowledge, like in my head. So back in the day, Aaron Brook, he's the current bass player and sometimes vocalist of Breaking Benjamin, and he and I go way back. And there's a band he was in many years ago, probably 20 years ago now, called Panacea. And he would play an acoustic show at a bar that I used to live by in my early 20s. So I would be there often because I was able to walk home after having, 1, 2, 10 beers.
Oh
But
yeah.
so we shut the bar down. He'd finish his set and then he'd be like, "Yo, let's go outside. This is what we're working on." So a lot of these guys always like kind of came to me and like for like almost like a sounding board to like see what I thought. And I always really appreciated that. But like, I wish I was able to like be like a producer and say, "That sounds cool, but like, why don't you do this to this song?" I think it would sound even cooler. But I don't even know the words I would use to like describe how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I had
Yeah.
some kind of knowledge because I think I could be good at that. I just don't have the knowledge or the vocabulary, I guess you could say.
What
It's crazy.
instrument would you play if you could play something? What would you choose?
Probably guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Well, I mean,
Look
that's
at this
Take
guy.
take it from me.
guitar and lead singer. They get the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the drummer, he can go pound sand.
Yeah, apparently. You're telling me.
But yeah, it's just such a cool process, and I always enjoyed being around it and kind of talking to musicians about how they kind of you know how their processes work too.
No, that's awesome. And it's funny you talk about Breaking Ben. I think like at least for myself and Chad and maybe even Alan and Aaron, like that band is just so huge for us growing up, you know.
I can hear some of it. I don't know if they are an influence for you, but I can definitely hear some parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I get that Ben Burnley comparison often,
yeah,
the vocals.
yeah. I've been fortunate. I've been around. Like, I mean, even Aaron Fink, who was the former guitar player. Like, he and I are good friends, so I've been able to like be part of their journey, so to speak, in some kind of way over the years. Um, yeah, I've been very, very fortunate. Like I said, I just wish I was like more knowledgeable. And everyone's like, "Oh, I talk about like I wish I like learned how to play when I was younger and all that kind of shit." And everyone's like, it's never too late. I'm like, no, it's way too fucking late. Like, listen, it's not happened. The time I'm 42 years old. I was late tonight because I got a flat tire. I had to put the kids to bed. Like, my sister-in-law's in from California. Like, my life's a fucking mess. I shouldn't say mess. It's just like
It's
organized
busy.
chaos. Yeah, it just,
Yeah.
I just recently, well, the past few months anyways, I just found like time to like start going to the gym so I don't keep getting fatter. But it's like I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. So I go to the gym before work. I go to work. But I come home, kids ready for school, take them to school, go to work, come home, we do family dinner, we do homework, we do bath time, whatever it is, and then bedtime. So it's like, yeah, could you do it after all that? Sure, but I'm also doing this. And then when I'm not doing this, I always say like I genuinely love my wife and I love spending time with her. So when we're not doing all that, it's nice to sit on the couch and talk to each other about, our lives and our days and, what the plans for our future and our children's future and yada, yada, yada. So learning an instrument is not in the cards for me
But
I mean,
enjoying that is in the cards for you.
all day, every day. This is my way of like pushing my way into, music.
All of that.
Yeah, and that's a very valuable thing. I mean, that's the music industry is full of people. Most of them aren't musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole network of well, massive variety of networks of different people and everything. And podcasting, be a lawyer. There's every opportunity.
Yeah.
So I would consider you a part of it because it's a valuable resource for people to discover new music.
Warms my heart. Thank you.
Of course, man.
I was gonna say thank you for this podcast. Can you hear me? Yeah. I was gonna say, thank you for doing stuff like this podcast, but like there's kind of two things I wanted to say is like one is like, doing stuff like this is part of the music community and it's cool that like you can do stuff to encourage and grow the music community um without actually having an instrument in your hand.
Yeah.
So, and like I feel like sometimes people who don't play instruments, sometimes they feel left out. And it's like, no, you're part of the family too, man.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
I want to get to a level where like it matters, and I appreciate your interest in what I do, and for taking the time. But like, I want to come to the point where like it's like, oh, we have a new album coming out or whatever it is. Like we gotta talk to Popko. Like his platform is going to get it out there and help us reach new people. I'm not there yet. But hopefully
You're
one day.
working at it though.
We'll see.
Hey,
I
and if
hope.
you need any help on social media, now
Yeah.
You're
we're
the guy.
acquainted.
These days.
You guys are very
Dennis is
active on
great at
social.
that. So yeah.
Yeah, you guys
I
have
also
a,
wanted. Oh,
no, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
also wanted to encourage you of like, hey, like, I when I taught guitar for like a day job, I had a couple students that were like 50, 60 years old who were literally just like, yeah, I'm like my kids are off at college now and I have more free time and like I just wanted to do something, while I'm watching TV and stuff and like yeah, like they weren't like shredding like they weren't like John Petrucci or anything like that, but it was like a nice like meditation, like relaxation tool for them,
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know.
Maybe one day when the kids
Yeah,
are out of the
yeah.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, man. I respect it though.
Yeah.
It's busy.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't know what I did with all my free time before I had children.
Oh yeah.
I probably
bet.
wasted a lot of it, I guess.
That's the answer right there. Unfortunately. I'm experiencing that right
Yeah.
now.
It's been
Not right now, but in my life in general.
right.
I
I understand.
Not as efficient as it could be.
I understand. Yeah. It is what it is. You live and you learn. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hindsight's 2020, right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
So are you guys all from Hershey?
Um
Not a trick question.
I'm
We're all pretty
I'm originally
close.
from Harrisburg, and then we moved to Rhode Island, and then we moved back to Hershey. So, yeah, more or less spent a lot
Well,
of my
more so like
childhood in Hershey.
right now in the current state of the world and your lives.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a stomping grounds for sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Chad and I both live in Hershey area right now. Aaron is the farthest away.
Yeah, that's
Where's he
yes,
at?
unfortunately. I'm in
Yeah.
Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah. And Alan is in New York right now. I'm trying
Okay.
to get him to move back to Hershey though.
Hey, man, I'm ready. Let's make it happen.
We gotta get him. We gotta find him a good spot that's not, $2,000 a month here.
Yeah,
Hershey's
forget
getting
it.
so expensive. It's crazy.
Everywhere's getting expensive. Even downtown like York is. I mean, you'd be lucky to find
Expensive.
something for $900 a month, like a 1 bedroom in
It's
not
hard,
the
man.
best
One
community.
bedroom
Yeah.
studio that comes equipped with cockroaches and rats, right? 900
Yeah,
a
I mean,
month.
I would
Yeah.
hope the cleanliness is up to par, but I don't trust it. I don't
Yeah.
trust it. Yeah. I could
So-
deal with cockroaches though. I feel like that'd be fine. I could deal with that.
Yeah, you won't
Get
feel
some
alone.
bug spray. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've named them and stuff. Spiders everywhere. Like,
Welcome
this
you
is
home.
heaven. You get used to it probably.
Yeah. Part of your life,
Yeah.
Is there a scene in Hershey? Is there like a local scene or?
No, not in
I
Hershey.
didn't think so.
But in Harrisburg, there is.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I think it's kind of crazy. Some people will tell you the Harrisburg scene is burgeoning and that it's better than it's ever been. Other people will tell you it's dead. And other people, probably the majority of us, are somewhere in the middle, right? It isn't quite how it was 10 years ago, in my opinion. But in other ways, it's like also better than it was 10 years ago, right? Because I think
Mm.
now more than ever, the people that are in the music industry want to be here. They're catering to positive change and creating music that they feel strongly about, right? I think more of the for fun bands have kind of dissipated, which it kind of sucks because I love, the people that are doing it because they're in their 30s or 40s and they just love making music. I think that's awesome too. So I think now we only have like two hands full of bands in the
Hmm.
Harrisburg area, like as far as like our scene goes, which is like the rock scene.
It's
I
a
know the
big
metal
country,
scene.
country and metal. Yeah.
Yeah, country metal is so big in Pennsylvania, I feel like.
It is.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
And we're like metal leaning, but even around here, like I think Harrisburg, the hardcore scene's probably a little more active than our metal scene.
It's so crazy that like that's I feel like that's everywhere. Even like in where I'm from, like that hardcore scene is like
It's huge
they're
right
so
now.
they're so but it's like their fans are so rabid and they're so like loyal and but like you never really hear about them. It's like underground thing still. It's weird.
It's like a younger generation thing, I think. It's
Yeah.
like, a
It's
lot of
very
that.
much
They
like,
live in different worlds, especially everything's online now.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just it's like your algorithm on any social media. It's tailored completely to you. Well, that's my theory, Everything was a lot simpler 10 years ago.
I would go back in a second.
Oh, me
I
too.
I said earlier that, the internet's a great thing. It's allowing us to do this right now. But if it went away tomorrow, I think I'd be okay.
yeah,
Dude, it would be a wonderful day. It would start off as a terrible day, and then within 30 minutes, you'd be like, this is amazing.
It's amazing.
I don't have to like wait for any messages or look at social media, Facebook all day.
Yeah.
And like, well, I'm
create
not,
my social
well,
media
I'm not a
calendar tomorrow.
millionaire, mindset sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I would go back to 20 years, like in a second, I
There's
think.
all
Such a
those
beautiful time.
there's a lot of those memes where it's like it's like, oh, you just, everything's fine. You woke up in 2012, and you're playing Minecraft. You ever see those? Those are so hard to watch or look at. So I'm like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
in the day. But
It's
yeah, we're
crazy that
moving on.
we crave nostalgia, right? But like, I feel like when we were kids, it was like, I'm so ready to be an adult, right? Or like, even when I was in my like late teens, I was just so ready to like move on to the next phase of my life. Now I'm in my late 20s. Still not very old yet.
No, you're good.
But I can still be like, I wish I could turn back the clock a little bit and like savor it more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being like in high school, I was dating this girl, and I was like, I just want to be like 25 and be married and all this other kind of shit. And then we broke up, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I want to enjoy my
I have
youth
a
and
I have a similar story, but I won't get into it.
you can't do
Tannis
that.
knows. Tannis knows. Well, yeah, there's this one girl a while ago. I won't mention her, but that was kind of the vibe. It was very young, a lot of pressure, and it just didn't work out. It's one of those things. I think it's easier. I mean, I'm not trying to be unfair, but I think for women generally it sometimes is an easier decision. For guys, I mean, they tend to think more about financial problem, and that was I mean, still, I'm I'm not ready to settle down right now, but if you want to settle down, I prefer to make it a comfortable position you're in as opposed to a more stressful one.
Right.
So, I think everybody thinks differently. Some people just want that very bad among a lot of other things. So, yeah, it's a struggle dealing with, but at the end of the day, you just do your own thing, and I feel everything works out in the long term.
It does. I I,
Yeah,
I really believe that. I didn't. I met my wife when I was 25,
But
that's a
and
great age to meet someone, dude. Yeah,
I
25.
was it was perfect. Like I had a lot of fun. Like that's another thing too. Like I feel like sometimes when people are like dating, right? They without even realizing it, and maybe I'm out of line or wrong here, and I don't mean to be, but you kind of like tailor yourself to you know, somebody else. Like you want to make sure that you're, cognizant of their needs and their wants. And like you might like instead of going out with your buddies on a Saturday night, you're home with them. And that's great. That's what's wonderful. But you don't get a lot of time to do those things. And I think it's important to kind of have that freedom, and that autonomy to uh, kind of make mistakes and do stupid shit
Yeah.
and just kind
Mhm.
of, you know,
Live.
Yeah.
yeah.
Take it easy from
And not
time to
saying that
time.
when you're with someone you don't live, right? It's like that's not what I'm trying to say, but it's just like
No.
I don't know.
No,
I,
you're,
I'm
you're loud and clear. I get what you're
I'm happy
saying.
with how I it played out for me.
Yeah, I feel like once you like make that decision, like it's a very big decision, lifelong decision. It should be. So you got to be extra sure,
Yeah.
And what
100%.
does that actually mean? I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't even looking for, my wife when we met, and honestly, like she was way out of my league, still out of my league. I was like,
Feel that,
this,
brother.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, this is not going to last. I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy the ride while I'm on it, and you know, maybe 3 months from now, I'm back to, you know, being out and whatever. And then I was like 10 months later, I'm like, you're still here? Just like,
How do I
what's wrong with
manage
you?
this?
What's wrong with you? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like where's
at
the
that
red
point,
flag?
at the, at that point, I'm like, well, I mean, I will never find anything better than this. Like this is like, so we've been together ever since. That was 2008. It's been a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you, dude. Congrats.
I've
Well,
been married since 2019 myself.
okay.
So,
So you got married early, young.
yes, sir. It's 21, 22 when we got married.
So out of your league, you
22.
said out of your league, and just decided to
Yeah,
lock it
out of my
down.
league, a couple years older than me.
I'm
Just
not.
was
Whoa.
right there. I
Whoa, couple years. Woo.
I knew the second that my wife and I started hanging out that I wanted to marry this woman. Like I
Yeah.
just knew, you know. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Big Fish. Tim Burton directed.
No.
Beautiful movie. If you haven't seen it, see it. Ewan McGregor plays a young version of this guy's dad, and he like retells his life in the movie. And he's like, the first time I met my wife, the world was in slow motion, and she was all I could see, and everything around me was just it was like she had a spotlight on her.
Hmm.
That's definitely how I feel about my wife still to this day. She's my best friend, and
Hell yeah.
she just the amount of growth that I have had being with her and the growth that we've had together is just beautiful. And in my late teens, I lived a lot of life when I was young for not good reasons. I have I guess, a troubled childhood and troubled teen years. And I know, like, Aaron can attest to, like, I like to party a lot. And, I was a madman. And I was doing that from the time I was like 14 years old to the time I was 21. So by the time I could legally drink, I was still a menace, but not the same type of menace that I was prior to that. Um, and then ran into her at a bar with my friends, and I asked for a number, and it was a courtship that turned into a lifelong commitment with each other. And I thank God for that every day. And at that point in time, my relationship with God wasn't good, but now it is. And I find that that's also an important piece of who I am as a person now, that rebirth, if you will. And I'm very, like, in general, proud to be in a band with people that I love. Alan, Chad, Aaron, been together. Chad's newest with a year now in the band. Alan and Aaron longest with 4 years in the band. And Aaron and I, a whole total of 8 years together, 2017,
Yeah,
baby. 8 years in 2025. Just, people that I love and I've grown with, and I've seen so much from all of them, growth and just continued attempts to be better and to help me, like, I think from when we started the band till now, like, everybody now has like defined roles, and we all like are splitting some of the workload, in some ways. And it's just like I really feel blessed. Like truly, I don't know how
No,
else to say it.
that's a
I
great
feel,
story, man. Like that's
yeah,
I love to hear that. I mean, at the end of the day, like we need that, and we need. I mean, women are amazing creatures. They're um just such a vital role in who we are as men too, and
yeah,
it just yeah, it's always great when you can find that person that compliments you and then even like with you guys as a band, like when you find those people that just really magnify your strengths and make you a better person, whether it be a partner in relationship or a band. And I could really hear that in your music. Like when I was saying before, like all your songs are really great. I wasn't just bullshitting you because you're looking at me like when you sent me your song. Like I was like, wow, this is really good. Um, and it's all consistent. It's all like really tight and just really well done. And yeah, it's great stuff. You could tell you guys are a good unit.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're
means
trying.
the world, man. Sincerely.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. And you guys have had according to your Spotify Wrapped, you guys had a pretty big year, I'd say.
Huge year for us. Yeah.
Just some highlights. You have 86,000 listeners. You have 258,000 streams across 145 countries. Just huge increases in those categories year over year. What do you think contributes to that?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Like,
God
honest to
damn it.
God, like
God damn it.
I hate to say that. The thing that I did this year that was different than every other year we existed as a band is consistently posting on TikTok, consistently posting on Instagram Reels. I'm on social media every day. And I hate it. Honestly, it's soul sucking. Like my wife has to tell me, hey man, get off your phone.
Put the phone
Like
down. Yeah.
you can schedule posts another day. You can create that content another day. Like be here, be present with me.
Mhm.
But I'm like right now, especially, I'm chasing it, man. Like I feel like we're right on the cusp of greatness. Like I know to most people they see, oh, 10,000 monthly listeners. A bunch of people have that. Yeah, but like a bunch of people have that and they don't play like we do live. Like I think there truly is, and not to like I feel like that came off very like
Not at all.
bragging,
Not at all.
whatever.
Nope. No, dude, you have
But
to.
like,
I mean, you have to like
yeah,
be proud of what you're
have to be
doing.
honest about what's going on.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, be proud
Yeah.
of that. Don't no. That's don't short yourself because you think it sounds like you're bragging. No, it didn't come off bragging at all.
yeah, if we get the right bunch of shows, we get the right crowd in front of us, the right person sees us, I know that we're where we need to be. And I'm gonna keep posting on social media hoping that the right person sees us there too.
A common theme of this show, I always say, it only takes one,
Yeah,
and that's
Mhm.
across life in general. It takes that one moment when you met your wife, right? It takes that one person to hear your music. Hopefully, one person finds this podcast and says like, this guy's a good foundation. Let's help push him to the further. It only takes one. I bet on a
yeah,
lot of UFC fighter underdogs because it only takes one punch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like UFC?
I do.
Oh, dude, I love mixed martial arts. I don't know if you can tell because we're on camera. I got the classic "this guy wrestled in high school" build. So I grew up doing all the mixed martial arts. Hitting the heavy bag, hitting the speed bag, wrestling for over a decade of my life. BJJ.
Nice.
I love everything like that. So
I never got involved in that stuff. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan, so I kind of was like into UFC because of him.
love some Rogan, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I really want to trip down memory lane, I watch old Fear Factor episodes
Hell yeah.
when he still
think-
had hair, bro.
Nice.
I think it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a huge inspiration. I mean, he's like when he got over to Spotify, I was like, this dude is putting a target on his back. In that, like he's just gonna get bigger and bigger. And I kind of like that he was like not unknown when he was prior to Spotify, but I think he's definitely, I don't want to say changed, but like it's a little different. I mean, I still like love him, but
Yeah.
he's
He's a
just
pop culture icon
he's
now.
a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
It's crazy. I never thought my favorite UFC commentator would be one of the biggest podcast hosts on the entire face of the planet. Period. He
Yeah.
is, you know.
Yeah, it was a crazy upcoming with him. That was a wild ride, I bet.
Yeah, it just I mean, I don't know him obviously. I wish I hope one day I get to like shake his hand, right? But like
Yeah.
he just seems like a nice, genuine guy. Like he does like and all this fame is he's unfazed by it, from what I could see. I mean, who the fuck am I? But I don't know. It just
I mean, listen to his stand up from like 15 years ago,
terrible.
and like listen to him talk now. He's the same dude.
Yeah, well, I
like-
hated his comedy back then.
His stand-up doesn't really hit
Really?
for me, but I like,
Oh no, I love him as a.
Oh, you do?
I love when
Alright.
he talks to other comedians, because I love stand-up comedy, but one of the things I love about stand-up comedy is listening to other comedians talk to each other about the grind of like what it takes to actually make it and stand up, and it's like, oh, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, same deal as being in a band, man. I really think stand-up comics are just like musicians in that fact.
Oh yeah, they tour and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
easier to logistically, I think, because they just got to bring
Yeah.
themselves.
They don't got all
Instead
the
of like a
gear.
truck full of stuff.
Unless they're like Carrot Top and they're like
Yeah,
prop
they have.
top.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
got
know
like
if anybody does
props.
that anymore.
They got like a variety of stools they bring.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it might be more difficult to a degree being a comedian because you're just by yourself.
Hmm. Yeah.
I feel like if you're like in a band, like you can kind of, if you miss a note or something like that, like audience probably wouldn't really know that. But if you bomb, you're fucked.
Depends
It's
what you
a-
do in the band.
Yeah.
I will say,
Well, sure, of
I've
course,
had
yeah,
a
but
fan tell me one time, "Hey, you didn't do the high note in that song. Mind your business, Janice." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That's
it's
funny.
pretty similar worlds now you mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Open mics, you got to do that to get, put your time in and kind
Yeah.
of like work out songs, and that they do that for jokes. Yeah.
I think it's probably sorry, and it's probably even harder to get somewhere with comedy though, because it's so saturated. There's a lot of people doing it. You
Yeah,
gotta
but this is the
really.
same thing for you guys. How many bands
Yeah,
are
it's
out there?
true. I feel like fewer people are willing to like. Not that it's like a tremendous amount of work, but it's like it's just a lot you have to do with
It's a
band
lot,
stuff.
yeah.
Like you got to rehearse and you got to record, and it's a lot of money. So it's something that like some people will get involved with, and then immediately, well, maybe down the road, they're like, yeah, it just isn't working.
Yeah.
It's a lot up front, a lot during, and all for the hope that you hit something down the line. So that's similar with comedy, but yeah,
It's a
I feel like
relationship
it's
too.
yeah, oh yeah,
That's
networking too, and um, yeah, where you live helps. If you live
Yeah.
near a
New
city
York's never
center,
big enough, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, the internet helps with entertainment now, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back to the internet. I mean, you say like TikTok kind of helped you guys really uh grow as a band. Um, are there any kind of things that you've seen specifically that worked more than others? Like, is there anything you guys can kind of, if any like if there's a band listening to this and they're like, we want to try and up our social game in 2025, is there any kind of advice you can give?
Post every single day.
Not
That
quite
sounds
every
terrible. That
single
sounds
day.
terrible. I hate that.
No, I know it sounds terrible, but a part of me is literally
kidding.
just like, dude, like if your friends are sick of seeing, if your like Facebook friends are like sick of you seeing posting every day, they're not friends who are supporting of you and your goals.
Right.
Like, and that I get that could, I don't know. That's
No,
Yeah,
you're
I see
right.
what you're saying.
Is it, I mean, you guys are younger. For me, like I said, I'm 42. And I think I'm kind of like in a demo that maybe it's a personality thing, or maybe it's just kind of like, again, being older. I have a very hard time First of all, I don't think anything I do is very important, right? So it's like very hard for me to kind of like put myself out there. Like I just posted today, like a BTS of me hosting, the radio show last week. And it just seems it's just weird for me to do that. But obviously I think the younger generation, it's more it's normal.
Built in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, built in.
But post every day is what you're saying.
I would say if I could add, I think with like generally with content, you want to have a lot of different types of things. You want to have like playthroughs and short stuff. You want like tall videos, long video, like, TikTok and reels and stuff. You want to have coverage over a lot of mediums. Um, so I think that helps if it's like investing, you want to diversify, So that helps. That helps with your income streams too. But also I find it's helpful, especially this day and age, to definitely have like a sense of levity or comedy to your videos. That's something like once we did we had a couple days, we did some content, we did some funny things, and it got great reactions, and like everybody sees it, that and they give you good feedback, and I think that's what matters. Like people just, as long as they're watching, it's very like corporatist, and uh I hate to think that way, but I mean that's what big labels and like that's what they look at,
Social media is
primarily.
the new TV.
Yeah, they look at the music last, which is like, I get that. It's got to make money. I just wish people took risks like they did in the past. I think that'd be a lot cooler. But it's definitely navigatable. Yeah, it's just a lot of things I learned from Tanis. Pretty much everything I'm saying. I'm just adding this on. But yeah,
Yeah,
you know
Tannis
what
is
I
the
mean.
mastermind of the
Yeah.
TikTok algorithm for sure.
God,
Oh yeah.
guys, if I was a mastermind, we'd have a viral post already. But no, I
Yeah, I'm
appreciate it.
stealing all your talking points.
No, I'm so, dude, you guys talking about doing content and posting just gave me half mast for sure.
Awesome.
If I may be
Oh,
so
I
bold
wasn't
to say
full.
that on the podcast.
Stand up. Stand up. Let's
Yeah, prove it.
It's true, yeah.
Fix or it didn't happen.
So,
Post it on social.
Yeah. Post it on your OnlyFans. It's fine
Yeah.
there. You have one of those, right?
I should make
Or Lives Lost
Um,
OnlyFans.
some of the
Sorry,
messages
I'm
I get,
flipping.
man. I will say TikTok has opened up a realm of inappropriate comments that I'm not used to on social media, But on that same note, like what you're saying about like what's worked, what hasn't worked, high quality content, but stuff that's like true to you. I posted so much shit that like I feel like I did not feel strongly about and it flopped. And guess why it flopped? Because I didn't feel strongly about it. It's not actually in our moral code, It's like you got to post stuff in your purview, right? And like what is your brand? What do you hope to accomplish as a musician, as a creator, as an influencer? What is your thing? What's your niche? Everybody has this generalized concept of like, oh, this is so easy. It's so easy to make it as a musician. It's so easy to make it as a content creator. All these people do is post on their phones all day and respond to comments. And blah, 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 blah. Everybody wants to weigh in on like what everybody else is doing, right? Because we're in the social media age. It's so easy to hide behind a keyboard and be like, hey, you suck. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in doing that, we lose sight of like, there's probably people that feel similarly, have similar experiences, enjoy similar things to you. How do you get people that are similar to you to be into your music, to be into your podcast, to be into what you're creating if you're not putting yourself out there in a genuine fashion? I'm a weird dude, man. I like a bit of everything. I don't know if you can see in the background. I got a picture of like Space Cthulhu on the wall back there. I got guitars. I got a book about guitars, and behind that book's a book on bartending. Like I like reading. I like fantasy, high fantasy and fiction. Like I post about that now that I'm doing that, now that I'm like adding stuff like that into our posts, and my dogs, of course, and my wife. I love all those things, right? Now that I'm integrating that personal aspect into our content, I feel like that has really helped us. Like I think all of our music's highly personal. Like if you've listened to it, you've read the lyrics, like all of our music is about how I feel about something. Any given thing is how I feel about it. Like that's the lyrical content. Like And I think the other guys can attest to that. Like when I write something, it's because I am feeling an emotion. Like all of our music is rooted in that emotion. You know, our song IED, it's about how much I hate the government. Whatever, send a drone to my house. Fuck you. Anyway, our song Champagne is about how I was feeling when somebody else put me down and finding that value in myself. Letting Go of Ghosts is about letting go of a past toxic friendship and past toxic relationship. Our other big song just came out, Chin Up Kid. It's about my desire to help other people and persevere in the face of the negativity that is the modern world. You know, I think that all these things combined, like coming and writing the most honest music I've written, is like been integral in changing how people feel about us. Honestly.
I'm glad you went into that because I was going to ask you. Sometimes the lyrics for me are very secondary. Like the music is really kind of the first thing I really pay attention to. So I'm glad you kind of elaborated on the lyrical content of that. And I always find it like interesting too. Is like do people write about stuff that like they're personally experiencing and feeling and going through? I know that if I was to write a song, I'm very black and white. I don't have that like artistic brain where I can
Paint the
create
shades of
this.
gray
Yeah,
and
I can't
rainbow.
create this like this story, so to speak. Like, so it's cool that your lyrics are very kind of um, things you've experienced that you're feeling and that they that are things that people can relate to. It's stuff that everyday people are going through or have experienced or will experience or all that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you saying that. And that's like,
Yeah.
part of like why I haven't given up, right? Because I've been in the music industry for 10 years. I'm not playing stadiums yet. Why am I still here? Why am I still doing this? It's because if my music, whether it touches hundreds of thousands of people or it touches 10 people, if my music has helped you the way that the music that I love has helped me, my life is complete.
Yeah.
My journey as an artist is complete. Like music has literally saved my life. Like it was a coping skill that I developed on top of the chronic alcoholism that I developed, but like it was my primary nature, it's like the thing that I could always turn to and lean on. And even when I have writer's block, like the first thing I do is go and listen to music, like have a bad day at work. I throw on my headphones. I go to the gym and I pump iron with some crazy deathcore playlist, like literally I listen to so much different music and all the music I listen to is based on mood. I think everybody in this band will tell you I probably have the most like I mainly listen to rock, mind you, but like out of everybody, I think probably I have the widest array of like I listen to this. I will say Alan listens to the weirdest stuff out of everybody.
That's kind of
Um,
true. Yeah.
and Aaron listens to the most sad boy stuff out of everybody. And Chad listens to the most classic rock and funk out of all of us, for sure. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's probably pretty accurate, actually.
So, yeah, we all
That's
have our
funny.
niches, right? But like music palette wise, we all like a bit of different stuff, except I listen to probably everything.
Mhm.
Like just different times I need different things,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I always think it's cool too, is like, there's like, 4 or 5 members of a band and they all have different like favorites. And you kind of nailed that right now. And since Aaron's being so quiet, we'll get him involved real quick. Um, Sad boy stuff. What are you listening to?
I'm guessing Tannis is talking about the Smiths. I love the Smiths, so that's. I don't know if I like a bunch of other sad boy music. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff, but
The 1975
Oh, that's a
yeah,
great
if you,
band.
yeah,
I
then
love
yeah,
that band. Oh my God.
early John Mayer,
Hell
John
yeah.
Mayer,
Yeah,
yeah,
Aaron's
some
a
of the
big.
in
Hell
the
yeah.
you're right.
between albums of the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah,
Dude.
Goo Goo Dolls, you're right. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a big
Like I
Juice
guess,
World fan.
yeah, I was gonna say, I guess now sad boy music is like
Yeah.
SoundCloud rap, which Aaron does
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
it is.
I think of like trap, kind of emo,
but
Yeah,
I
trap stuff.
you're
you're
old
like
school sad
classic
boy.
90s heartthrob sad boy music playlist guy.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I really like. And I mean, I like all music, you know, but I do listen to a lot of that kind of thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Those are
Aaron
great.
probably second most versatile palette in the band too. Like, I think I've showed like you and I have been in the car more than anybody in the band,
Yeah,
and you and I have jammed so much different stuff in car rides. And I'm always surprised when Aaron knows like a weird B-side I put on, like weirdly. Aaron will know. And I'm like, how do you know this? He's like, oh, I used to listen to this band.
yeah. I don't know. It's like I used to have phases. I used to listen to like grindcore kind of thing, and
Nice.
now I don't listen to that at all. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, there's just I think everybody goes through those phases though. You just find a different genre and you just listen to it and find a song or two or a band or two or whatever, and then you kind of move on a little bit.
It's not just a phase.
Yeah, you're right. Not just a phase.
All those bands you mentioned, I love those bands. Those are
Yeah.
Matty Healy, man. He those ever since that was a chocolate that came out like
Yeah, yeah.
2013 or something like that. Like that was oh man, he's a weirdo.
Yeah, they just came out of nowhere too. I mean, their first album was just amazing. I mean, they had like 4 EPs or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just their debut was awesome, and they just like I guess kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I love how
Seemingly.
weird he is.
Me too. Me too. I do enjoy. I enjoy him. He's kind of controversial now, but I love him, so it's
Yeah, well,
fine.
I was not surprised that him and T Swift didn't work out.
I mean, were they for sure dating? Was that like 100%? I think so,
As far as I
right? That
know,
was,
yeah. I mean,
Only the
yeah,
one
I don't
song
know.
on the new album's about him. You can ask Chad about
Oh,
that. His girlfriend's a Swiftie.
let's go, Chad. What's up?
I I
Is it official?
yeah.
Did Matty Healy date T Swift? Let's go.
Oh, hold on. Can you no
Get your notes.
no, I know. I should have taken notes on this.
No, dude, I
and
didn't take notes. I didn't take notes.
no. I
We're having fun.
I put Chad
from
on
what
the
I no, I no, I from what I know, it was this was my this is they were like from what I know of it. Oh my god, it's literally just sorry. No, I feel bad because if I get any of this wrong, Amanda's gonna be mad at me.
She'll be mad either way. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Like, uh, um, yeah, I don't know what to say. No,
I think I
no
think
pressure, no
in
pressure.
my opinion, I think it was just a rebound. She needed that like that
Yeah.
throwaway. She needed that bad boy weirdo like making out with different girls in the crowd, like just getting weird. Like she just needed that little palate cleanser, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, it worked. I mean, they got a lot of headlines out of it, so yeah.
But yeah, then she started dating Travis Kelsey, and we all know the story behind that. She ruined football.
According to Google, they did officially date.
Yeah.
They
I
did.
believe it. From what I've read, from what I've seen, they were dating. There's pictures of them together. They're and I think that one song is about him.
Yeah, they're all
That's
about
okay.
I
somebody.
tolerate it probably.
Dang.
The song?
Yeah,
No,
I think so.
No, it was hold on.
Oh, all right.
It was yeah, you're definitely getting in trouble.
I know.
You're
Hold
oh
on.
shit. That's Taylor Acorn. You ever hear her?
Oh, that's stuff.
Do you ever hear Taylor Acorn?
I believe.
She's amazing.
Social media.
I feel like the song
This is
called
all Taylor Swift records.
oh boy.
What the hell? You have a
Oh yeah,
This is Swiftie,
I'm
bro.
You're still buying
definitely-
CDs?
She literally, yeah. I mean, Amanda literally has like more vinyl records and CDs than I did like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, mad respect. I mean, I wish
Yeah.
Respect.
up until 2018, my son was born late 2017. In 2018, I was going to the record store. I was still buying CDs. I would buy CDs. I would come home. I would put them on my computer, transfer them to my iPod, and I'd still listen. I'd still buy CDs, but I was spending. I would just go there just to buy anything. I had no mission. I would just go there. I would flip through like the used section and just I'd look at cover art and buy stuff that I didn't even hear of before. A lot of it was garbage, but but I was spending $200 a month in the record store. I'm like, I can't do this with a child. Like, this is just financially irresponsible. But I think this song about Maddie Healy was called "The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived." I think
Is that
She's
a
got a song about
metaphor?
John Mayer too.
Yeah.
John Mayer
I
is
love
my
John
man.
Mayer.
John Mayer. I don't. My wife hates John Mayer. She hates
Why?
Dave Matt because she's not smart.
You can say it, yeah.
Well, she won't
I'm
watch this.
so
She won't
glad I'm
watch
not
this.
the only person that's gonna have a partner mad at them
She
after
won't
this
watch
recording.
this. She won't watch it. I mean, she knows she's way smarter than me. She's far from dumb. But
Continuum is probably the greatest pop album of all
Continuum
time.
was a great album.
Is that pop or is that rock? Or is it a little bit
I
better?
think blues pop kind of
Blues
feel.
pop? Okay.
And the one before that, Heavier Things, was amazing.
Also amazing.
That was
Yeah.
an amazing, and even Room for Squares, amazing.
Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is a classic drink whiskey and sob about my sorrows song.
In Repair was a song that came out off the Continuum album, 2006, and that was like a song that I was like that year for me. I was like, I would date a girl for like 2 months that I thought was like this could be something, and then they kind of like ghost me. That happened like 2 or 3 times, and that was like my song. Like, I'm in repair.
I like
But,
that.
That is a great song,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like waiting up for college when MTV was still a thing. Like, and it's like Limp Bizkit. This is '03, so Limp Bizkit was huge. He had that song. Shit.
Rolling?
No, that was late '90s.
yeah.
Take a Look Around
Stuff.
came out with Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, no, it was that song I thought was about Britney Spears. I gotta look it up. Doesn't drive me nuts.
Looking it up.
Results vary. Eat You Alive.
Just
So it was
dropped
like,
dead off
like,
of You Live.
yeah, Eat You Alive. So like, it was always a John Mayer video, Eat You Alive video. That for me, and I feel like I'm so like stuck in the past sometimes because like I just like music for me is so nostalgic in that I apply so much of it to moments of my life.
I feel that.
There are albums and songs that I could tell you almost to the day or within a week of when it came out. Just because I just apply it to like, certain year of college or the girl I was dating or a moment with friends or whatever it might be. And that's what I love so much about music is just like that ability to like connect things and just like music is so powerful. And you
Yeah.
kind of said something before that I kind of touch on a lot. Like it just like you said, it saved you, right? Like, and it saves a lot of people. Like there millions of people around the world have been saved by music and certain songs, and like it's kept them going, whether they were divorced or they lost their job or whatever it might be. Like what you guys do as musicians, like goes so far beyond just the 4 people in the band. Like it's so amazing what it does.
I agree. There's power in frequency, I like to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tanis, what singer were you asking me about? This was a couple of weeks ago. You were asking me who do you like more, Chester Bennington or some other singer? Do you remember who you were asking me about this?
It would have been somebody from that era. Oh, or Scott Weiland.
Scott Weiland. Okay. So specifically Tanis was asking me because I have a history in like classical singing training. Like that's what I went to college for in junk. But like he was asking me like, hey, who do you think's a better singer, Scott Weiland or Chester Bennington? And I was like, I mean, technically speaking, I think Scott Weiland, but like I've never felt listening to the song "Leave Out All the Rest." Scott Weiland has never made me feel that way. And Tannis was like, "Oh yeah, like yeah, I definitely agree with you." And um,
That's a lie, though. He has made me feel that way. So
well,
yeah,
whether you were like you got what I was saying though.
yeah, I did.
You were like, "Hey,
100%.
I've never felt this way," and like I mean, yeah, we're a little bit on the young side, but we're all old enough that we've all been in different bands. And I feel like what makes Tanis so special to be in a band with is he understands that aspect of music of like, hey, like this is meant to make or to help you go through something or acknowledging the emotional aspect of um, you know, what you're going through during a certain situation, you know.
I appreciate that,
That's
Chad.
special. That's a special thing to be able to do. I think
Thank you.
not everyone can do that. What do you guys think about the new Lincoln Park? Since we're talking about Chester
I like
Bennington.
it. I don't love it, but I like it,
Yeah.
and in fairness, and the internet can crucify me for this later. Lincoln Park has always been Mike's band, you know.
Yeah.
Chester made it what it was, but Lincoln Park was making music before Chester joined, you know.
Yeah.
So for people to get mad at the founding members for continuing on when really realistically, I feel like every interview I've ever seen at Chester has been like showcasing what like a selfless person he was and how much love he had in his heart. I would just imagine somebody like that would want their friends to continue on.
Sure.
Like I know if I died in like a tragic car accident, I'd want the band to continue on. And my wife knows this, The only person that is allowed to replace me legally is Johnny Craig. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
Wow.
Just kidding.
I love that.
But no, seriously. So, I would think somebody selfless like that and caring, they want their friends to continue on without them. And that's how I feel about it. I don't think it's on. I get like fans when you have a connection to a band, a deep connection, right?
Mhm.
You get that. Like my opinion matters more than the people that created the music,
Right.
type beat. But at the end of the day, that music probably means more, if not as, at least at the very least, as much to them as it does to us. I would think.
Well, yeah, I would think so too. I think what's crazy too is like, you know, knowing what happened to him and then listening to that last record. Like,
Yeah,
it's almost like he was trying to tell someone something.
yeah, 100%.
Crazy. Crazy.
Even crazier is like, I don't know how to say this. Like, yes, he was saying it without saying it, right? Um, but that's such a common theme for so many singers and songwriters when they're getting towards the end of their literal rope where they feel like they have nowhere else to be. Like
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorite musicians, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, that last song he wrote for Nightmare that has his raw vocals on it. I forget the name of the track. I'm terrible with song names sometimes. Even our own songs. Like I make up names for them sometimes, straight up. You can ask the guys. But it was about how he feels like his time on this earth is spent and he's going to be better off not here. Right. And that's the last song he wrote for Nightmare. And he did it in the studio like the night before he died. He killed himself or overdose, whatever happened. And I'm sorry that I don't have the details in my head right now, right? But
It was December.
we see this time and
2000.
time again from rock musicians. Even Scott Weiland was like writing something very deep and sad when he overdosed. Same thing with Lane Staley. It's kind of crazy that like musicians are literally actively seeking for help in their music without doing it. And I think this all boils down to what we're talking about here is right. These are all American musicians, and I'd like to take this moment to say that America has a mental health problem and has for a long time. And a lot of people do not feel like they have a platform or a support group or a community. I think our sense of community as a country is it's a sad place we're in that we feel like we don't have community amongst ourselves, honestly. Um,
which is crazy
yeah,
because
but
I feel like we're more connected than we've ever been before, but we're also, I think, more divided than ever before.
it's hollow connection, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to agree with somebody in the echo chamber that is the internet.
Hmm.
Whereas in communities before and classically, we have to find a way to see past our disagreements to live in some type of harmony. That's how society has always been. And if you have a problem with somebody, now this is way in like ancient Roman times and like stuff like that, or even revolutionary times, you'd like do a duel or some shit if you really got to
Right.
that point. But
Right.
now it's like this echo chamber of like, oh, you're so right. I agree with you. And you get a community of these people online that are like hollow relationships that are not life lasting. Now, I've made some great internet connections, and there are people that I've met online that I've built an actual community with. But that being said, that's a rarity. And that kind of village echo chamber mentality has made us unavailable and not able to build connections, seeing past each other's differences and finding commonality.
Well, I think that, I mean, even before the internet, you're talking about, dueling back in, the old ages, right? But like even before the internet, I mean, like think about when you had a problem at school. It was like, I'll see you after school in the playground.
Yeah.
Now it just, and I don't even know, like I'm terrified to try and have to, navigate that space with, two kids. Obviously that my kids are, one will be 7 and one's 2. They're not even on the internet, right? But like one day they will be, and I'm terrified to, try and help them navigate that life because it's not what I grew up with, right? And then, but like,
Yeah.
it's no longer a fight after school. It's they'll get bullied online. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't end
crazy.
at school. Like it goes online, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, I as a parent, I I I see things online. Like we're very busy. I said this before. So there's when we get a free weekend, it's like we're gonna hang out and just chill as a family, you know, draw, watch a movie, whatever it might be. And my kid's like, "What are we doing today?" I'm like, "We're nothing. We're doing nothing today." But then I'll go online, I'll see like, oh, like his friend was at the local pumpkin patch, and it's like, am I doing enough with my kids? Like, is he missing out? Like, should we be doing this X, Y, and Z? Um, so it's like not. I'm not saying I'm being bullied by any means, but I'm definitely like feeling some kind of guilt at times because it's in front of me. So I don't know
I
how
feel,
kids these days are like, you know, they see, their best friends like, oh, well, Kimmy and Jody got together and I was left out. It's like it's kind of heartbreaking.
I agree.
But
100%. And I think now more than ever, and sorry, I had to go off screen. My dog was scratching the door to go in.
Oh,
My
so
wife, I
cute.
guess, went to bed
good for
and
her.
he wanted to get in the room. So
Yeah.
anyway, um, like you're saying, like now more than ever, there's that sense of aloneness when you see the people that you're supposed to be like very close knit with having fun without you online. They're posting it on their Snapchat stories, their Instagram stories. You're all hanging out, but we left out. That'd be like if, you know, everybody except me met
Yeah,
up in the band, but like 2 minutes from my house and didn't even invite me.
Right.
I'd be so upset,
yeah.
bro. If I
Yeah.
went on like and everybody was at Chad's and I didn't get an invite, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck?
yeah,
100%.
there's a reason
Like
Alan has a background on his computer right now. He's trying to hide something from you.
No, I'm not. I'll show
I'm
you.
yeah,
joking. I'm joking.
Alan's
I know.
actually at Chad's
Now I
right
need to
now.
prove it.
Yeah, Alan's at chat. That's right.
I'm joking.
I'll cry. I'll cry.
Tans
I'm
wasn't
joking.
invited.
This is just not very
I,
exciting. There's a hole in the ceiling too. You see that? See it up there? Isn't that cool?
Way to go, Chad. You just embarrassed Alan. Way to
So
go.
joking.
We had flooding. Well, we had a leak a little bit ago. I had to tear that out. So not
Hope you're
quite
happy,
as
Chad.
not very
Sorry.
elegant. Yeah, Chad. This is ridiculous.
No, I was in the grass. Come on.
I'm a little ant now.
Oh.
Honey, I saw the kids.
Crash landed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Uh,
I was
John-
up in the sky and I'm in the ground level.
You fell
Johnny,
like a
you were
shooting
talking
star,
about.
one
Oh,
without a
sorry.
permanent scar, or were you just looking for yourself out there, Alan?
I don't remember. I have no
Uh,
idea.
That was a train reference. It's fine.
Oh God,
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't.
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't get it
you,
either.
you gotta prep me for that sort of thing. Unfortunately,
What do you guys
So-
think about the drones or aliens or whatever
oh
they might be?
yeah, those are cool, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Great
what they
memes
could be.
from it.
You'd make a meme post about it today, like with our new song that just came out, Chin Up Kid. And it was like, I'm gonna tell the aliens that this is a song about looking up to the sky and seeing them or some shit. People seem to like that.
I saw a video. Initially I wasn't really, yeah, I'm like, whatever, like this is nothing. But I saw a video from a CEO of and maybe you guys have seen it too.
Like a
Sac-
drone company?
yeah, the Saxon
I saw that.
Saxon or something like that. I wanted to have this queued up, so I was like, he's the CEO. Don't play, don't play, don't play, don't play. Okay, don't play, don't play. Here we go.
Immediately, it plays copyrighted music.
Yeah. He's the CEO of Saxon Aerospace. And he basically, his company manufactures drones for the government. And he was saying that um, that these drones are essentially being deployed at night for a reason. There's a reason that they're at night and not during the day. And he was talking about some kind of like a nuclear warhead that was smuggled
Yep.
into the U.S. and has since disappeared.
Oh no way!
Hey,
Yeah.
fun fact, there's 8 nuclear warheads missing
Dude.
across the planet right now. 8.
That's crazy. Whoa.
Who do you
It's
think
like
some
all
guy
the-
just has that in his like living room? Like what?
I have no
That's
idea.
what you're hiding, Alan. That's what you're hiding. is this
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, that's
warheads.
what I got. That's what's in the
Yeah, if
ceiling.
Alan gets hit by frickin' wow, what are they called? Homeland Security. We just see Alan get tackled like that scene in Monsters Inc. Like we
Yeah.
have a code, whatever.
I hope it happens right now, so that way
He
I
gets
can release
swatted.
this. I can release this
FBI, open
podcast.
up.
Oh, they're here.
This will be the one podcast. This will be the one. This will happen right now. You'll get swarmed, and this
Yeah.
will go viral.
I'm the reason the drones are there.
Yeah. And all of a
Unfortunately.
sudden we become guys lost instead of lives lost because they're gonna end Alan's life.
Right.
Yeah.
Gonna be a victim of Homeland Security brutality.
Peace, guys. I'm outie.
But no, I wasn't worried.
Guys lost.
I wasn't worried about it until I saw that. I'm like,
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't
No,
consider
that's
that.
100% what I think it probably is too.
right.
It's probably
they-
black site drones. It's like off the books drone technology that we probably have and don't tell the general public about because we act like this when we see shit that we don't understand, right? And it's probably trying to find this dirty bomb.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I guess that's a good way of going about it. Like eyes in the sky. Yeah. It's gonna be just in some, redneck dude's.
Radiation.
It's gonna be in
easier
some
to
redneck
detect.
dude's backyard. It's just gonna be sitting there. It's gonna be in his boat. That's all it's gonna. I'm sorry, Tanis. I interrupted.
Probably
you,
in the Schuylkill. It's probably in Schuylkill County.
Yeah, it's in the Susquehanna.
I
It's where
I
water
saw
tastes bad.
I went outside to let my dog out last night, and I saw like this light in the sky. It wasn't like a craft of any kind, but it was just like this like bright light, like just like radiating in the sky. And I mean, I'm not going to jump to conclusions, but everything going on, you're kind of like, what is that about? I don't know. I don't
You
know.
ever see those the Elon Musk satellites? They like fly in a perfect line in the sky, and they have lights, so it looks like a train going through the sky. It's really cool. Saw one of them at OBX.
Nice.
Those are sick, dude. But you think it's like an alien
Man,
invasion, and then you have to look it up. You're like, oh, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a yeah. I think about like how life has, well, again, I'm older than you guys, but like my parents, like life kind of moved really slow for them. Like, the advancements in technology weren't that fast. And I think ever since like the release of the iPhone and like the internet blowing up and all, like 10 years feels like it would have taken like 30 years. And with AI now and stuff like that, like, I mean, I think 2025 is going to be a weird year.
Hey, we're 6 years away from technological singularity, which is the point in time that technologically we get so advanced that there's no point in return to society as it was before.
I don't like that.
I
You're
think we're
welcome
gonna
for
do.
ruining all of your nights.
I literally had a conversation with my mom last time I talked to her about like I showed her some random feature on her phone, and I was like, "Would you have ever imagined that you'd have a cell phone that like did this stuff when you were 20?"
Not a chance. No chance. Well, I always say like my parents, well, my dad has passed almost 20 years ago, but like my mom, like that generation, when the internet kind of blew up, like my mom will text and all that kind of stuff, and she'll use the internet to like, go on Amazon, buy stuff, whatever. But like they're so far, like I don't really need that. I just like I'm just gonna continue to live my life. I'm gonna ignore that all this stuff exists because I don't need
How
to
old's
worry
your
about it.
mom?
My mom's 67.
Okay. She's not quite at the age where they didn't learn technology at all. Like, I have a lot of clients. I'm a banker in my day job. Um, I've had a lot of clients through the past couple years. COVID made a lot of banks start doing stuff digitally, right?
Hmm.
And just people that are like, I don't know, 75 plus,
Forget
they
it.
don't even give a shit to learn
No,
technology.
they don't need to.
They
They're like,
said, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not learning it, man. You
I'm
can't
gonna
beat me.
die in 10 years. Like they're like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
Literally.
when you're talking about the internet and like uh, uh, uh I heard a quote today and I was thinking about it because of something you said uh where it's like with the internet and technology, it's like, oh, other people get to do this, new thing, and like I'm just completely, content with how I live my life. And the quote was comparison is the thief of joy. And I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think brings joy to your life? Because it seems to me that just being happy with, just finding, like, if comparison is the thief of joy, then like just finding joy in anything, like being content, seems like it's a good spot for you. Do you get what I'm asking?
I think
Like
so.
if comparison is the thief of joy, what's the opposite of the thief of joy to you?
I mean, for me, time is the thief. I mean, I having two young kids, like just seeing them, grow before my eyes, like it just like I feel like time in general is the thief of joy for me, if that's kind of what you're asking. But I like
I guess
that
I was
quote.
asking, like, what makes you happy and what do you tell your, like, what makes you happy and what can you like tell your kids, like, hey, this makes me
Oh, I mean,
happy,
yeah, I mean, I just what makes me happy is spending time with them. And what I've learned to do, with everything that goes on in the world is just control the things you can control. Um, you know, my life probably won't change too much with who the president is. I mean, granted, I hope that whatever uh what's what I'm looking for. It's like group, whatever shit. I want to use the word organization, whatever, what's the word? Group of government.
Like party, like
Well, yeah, sure, party's fine.
Party,
Whatever,
faction.
whatever, hopefully they'll, come in and curb inflation and reduce prices and all that. Like, but like at the end of the day, like I can only control what I can control, and that's, my, spending time with my kids and making sure that they're well educated and they have a good home life and that they have good friends and that, like, we're doing this as a family, and like that's all I can control, right? So like happiness to me is, making sure that my family is taken care of. Happiness to me is doing this podcast. Happy to me is hosting the radio show that I do. Happiness to me is just having my circle and making sure that circle is the right circle, because that's all I can control. Like there's outside of that really is nothing else to a degree, right?
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Does that answer your question? I don't know if I.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like the like the serenity prayer keeps you happy, where it's do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where it's yeah, just things I can't control.
Yeah. Why? And again, like it's like I can't control these drones or whatever they might be. Like, am I concerned about them? Sure, but like I can't sit here like terrified of like what they may or may not be, because I'll go crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Deep for a minute. That was beautiful. I feel like the whole conversation's been like pretty deep. So I appreciate you having us on here, Popko. Like,
Yeah,
really,
Yeah.
we'll
really
wrap
love
things up
chatting.
here. I don't know if we've talked enough about the music, but that's what I love about this
Yeah.
is that there's no script, there's no I try and get the music stuff out of the way in the beginning. That way, if people like it catches their interest, they can go stream your music or check it out on social media. But um, one quick thing, and then we'll wrap things up. But Lives Lost, the band name. Any kind of meaning behind that, or did you like open a book and that's what you
Yeah.
landed on, or?
No, it's much deeper than that. So, couple things. The name was decided before I even got Alan involved. So, for a hot second before I formed Lasciate, I thought about starting like a progressive metalcore project, and it was going to be called Our Lives Lost, like our last night. Um, but then I was like, that's too much like our last night. And then I was like, you know what? What if we said our lost lives? And I was like, that's weird. I don't know. And then just lost lives. There's some like crazy DJ in Sweden that's already lost lives. So Lives Lost was a name that was available and already fit the ethos of what I wanted to do. And why I wanted to be Our Lives Lost was like, I know earlier I kind of spoke about my faith a little bit, right? And the initial idea behind Lives Lost, like lyrically and thematically, was to deal with my struggles with faith and like relanding, rebirth, right? But also to pay homage to the people that I've lost along the way. I've had several friends I've lost to early death via, you know, suicide and drug overdose. And I've had some family loss, the same things, and just, unprecedented medical issues or medical events. And also, I think there's a lot of unnecessary violence and loss in this world. And kind of, talking about navigating the modern world in my life experience, I think I lived part of my life lost. So this is a combination homage to people that have died way too soon, way too early, to people that feel like they're lost or have never fit in, and more importantly, to the people that still feel like they don't belong. Lives lost and being, we call our fan groups the lost ones, being a lost one, being in the community of the lost, is about finding a place where you belong, where you feel like you're found and you feel like you're not lost anymore. I know that seems like such a convoluted answer, but
No,
really, like
I love that.
from the get-go, for me, it was like it's for everybody I've lost along the way. It's this potential ministry of faith also, and like I'm not talking like you have to be a Christian to be associated with Lives Lost or anything, although that is my faith, right? But it's more like this ministry of human compassion and community. I think that even, not to crap on churches, but there's a lot of churches out there that could use a lesson in community and compassion. You know, God says, above all else, love one another, right? And I think today in the modern world, we lose sight of that. There's more places now than ever to find prejudice and find echo chamber that agrees with you on your worldview that is maybe limited to your small little pinhole in society. I think there's a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life, and whether you agree with them or not, we can choose to love and welcome everybody. That's what America was built on. We're the melting pot, baby. And I think that's a very important viewpoint, and something that I feel strongly about.
Yeah.
My ministry as a literal ordained minister and a literal man of God is to just simply love people, period. I love the sex worker, the drug dealer, the addict, just as much as I love the priest or the little elderly lady on the corner that I help with her groceries. All of those people demand the same compassion, love, and respect for me, period. And I think that that's something that more people need to adopt, honestly, and the world would probably be a better place.
I really love all of that. I think you're right. I think we would be in a better place if we kind of all adopted that mindset. And we don't have to talk about faith and things like that, but just being better people in general, and being more compassionate to our fellow man. Um, maybe Tanis, this is something you and I can talk about after that. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but I struggle with my faith a lot. I mean, I grew up a Christian, and I went to church on Sundays. I went to, I got confirmed, all that kind of stuff. And when I lost, when I started questioning my faith was when I experienced great loss within an 8-month time frame. I lost one of my best friend's fathers, was like a second father to me, in September of 04. I lost my grandmother 2 months later, and then I lost my other grandmother 2 months after that, and then I lost my own father 5 months after that. So in an eight-month time frame, I think it was, I lost very influential people in my life, and I was like, you know what? I don't know that I can believe in something that would cause so much harm to me, and put me through all that, and put my family through all that, and my friends through all that. And I struggled a lot with that, even to this day. Um, and I'm also a very strong believer in everything happens for a reason. I'm still trying to find out, or figure out what that reason might have been, and I've kind of come to my own conclusions, or maybe I've forced my own reasoning behind it, and I'll share that real quick, and we can wrap things up. But I feel like God did that to me, and my family, and my friends, because He knew that I could handle it. Um, a lot of people that that it happens to, like, go down dark roads, and the wrong paths, and things like that, and maybe He spared somebody else that hurt, and that that struggle, and because He knew that me and my friends and my family could handle those scenarios. I don't know. That's kind of how I've managed to kind of get through it, I guess. But
That viewpoint and perspective. And I think, very similarly, I feel about my experiences as well. Except I probably went down the dark path. after my losses. Actually, our first record, I don't know if you got to listen to it at all, Portrait of Loss, is about me working through the grieving process and, you know, all 5 stages of grief from losing one of my best friends and from some childhood trauma that I'd rather not delve into. And I think similarly, they always say God chooses the strongest warriors, right? Um, whether or not that's the absolute factor, if that's just what we tell ourselves, right?
No,
Like you said,
I'm glad you said that because I was struggling for the quote.
yeah. But that I found rediscovered my faith during more or less during COVID.
Yeah.
And while I'm not actively involved in attending church consistently, I pray every day. I try and live my life morally in his image, the good and the bad, and that's important for me. That's an important talking point. I know not everybody in the band is religious, but they have allowed me the grace to speak on such things, and I don't think they'd be in the band with me if they didn't at least feel similarly to how I feel, right? That everybody in this band is a very compassionate, thought out person that cares about other people,
Yeah. That's all I could ask
And-
for.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Giving love to others. It's the most important of all. Above all else, love one another, period.
I didn't think the conversation, based on your music, at least like, hearing it was going to go the places that it went tonight. And I love that it did. I love the music, but, even more so than that, I think you guys are a great group of guys too. So it's like you're one of my new favorite bands just because of the fact that the music's great and then also you're just good dudes. We talked earlier about, you have a big year this year, right? A lot of increases in listeners and streams and all that kind of stuff. What do you think 2025 looks like for you guys? Any big plans, any big shows lined up, any kind of um, strategies you're kind of looking to
We're not allowed to
implement?
say yet, are we, buddy?
Well, we carry it, but we can't talk about exactly what we have going on, right?
Okay.
But we got to work with one of our collective favorite artists of all time on this new EP. We have a very important feature on it. This EP touches on, you know, firstly and foremostly, our plans for next year are releasing this EP.
Cool.
And it's a really weird point in the band. I'm not going to get into all the details because we haven't figured out all of the logistics, but we as a unit are going through big changes. And I think life has just been like proverbially and literally kicking everybody in the ass, with big life changes that we didn't know were coming, or, just we're still young. So we still have those big life defining moments happening
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And musically, and what my goals are, I want to smash every single unit, every single metric that we did this year. That's my goal for next year, is to not only double, but triple our numbers. Because from 2022 to 2023, we saw a minimal increase, but from 2023 to 2024, here we are, we have literally octupled our numbers from 2023 here in 2024. And if we can do that on a small scale, I think we can do it on a large scale. We're making the most authentic music we've ever created. This new EP we have coming out, the home EP, it's going to be called Hopefully, releasing in the springtime at the end of March, but we'll see. Definitively spring, I will say that. And it's about what it means for somebody that comes from a dysfunctional home, what the different phases of home mean to a person that grew up in that environment. So, track one, Chin Up Kid, is finding hope in yourself. But track two is an immediate contrast to that, Numb the Pain. It's about after you find that hope in yourself, losing faith in yourself and losing your support system and just deciding to go down the wrong path because you had a great loss. Track three's Acceptance. It's called Salt the Wound. And it's about accepting the people in your life for who they are and not blaming them for the trauma that they've bestowed upon you and the generational cycles that you have to break. It's about accepting and choosing to love or hate based off of who people are. And the final track is called Found, featuring a very, very special guest. And it's about finding the love of your life and your path in life as well. And I'm very like, I say this every time we release a song, I feel like I keep getting more and more personal. Next thing you know, we're gonna be talking about, my sex life in our songs. I don't know. Not to make a serious
Oh, I
moment,
understand.
but
Yeah.
it just seems like every record, every release we have, I get more and more emotionally vulnerable. And I feel like I have the space to do that and talk about that, because our fan group is very supportive. Our friends and family are very supportive. I'm again surrounded by three gentlemen that I look up to, that I look to for guidance and strength in times where I waver. I have truly the weight of the world on my shoulders. I do a lot. I have a lot of eggs in a lot of baskets, and I just really, as much weight as I put on myself, those around me give me the strength to do it, right? So next year, I hope to triple our metrics. I hope to do the biggest tour that we've done yet. And I just, in general, hope to creating authenticity and just catching the lightning in a bottle that is the Lives Lost sound, perfectly combining alternative metal with 2000s alternative rock, post-hardcore, and I think we've got a very special sound and we're dialed in, we're locked in now, and the next stuff that we release is going to keep getting better and better. So,
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of my most favorite podcasts that I've done as of late. I love the message. Again, I think you're a great group of dudes. Music is great, and I'm excited to see what you guys do in 2025. I really am.
appreciate that, Popko. Thank you
Yeah.
again so much for having us. And, we've had a blast tonight. I hate
Yeah.
to speak for everybody, but also I can tell we
No,
all
we
had a
did.
good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was really I don't know how to say it better than I just really really enjoyed this conversation, and you're not far from me, so hopefully maybe you can. Hershey's what, west of me? I'm in Scranton. Southwest?
I think we're southwest of you.
I never was great in geography, so
Early west, though, we're definitely probably just south of you, actually.
yeah,
Now that I'm thinking about it.
not far. A couple hours away,
Yeah.
I think. But
Yeah.
We can travel.
well, no, I would
Yeah.
love for you guys to come up my way. We have the Ritz Theater is a great venue. But yeah, I mean, I would love to catch you guys live at some point. But
We'd
yeah,
love to have you.
I wish you guys the most, you know, love and respect and the best of luck in the new year. And you guys have a great thing going. I really do think that.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Popko.
And I do want to play your music
Thank you.
on the radio. So if you guys want to send me
Oh
your
yeah.
I got you. I'll send
couple
you some clean stuff MP3. We actually, Chris James from 1057 is polite enough to have us on his Sunday show,
Oh, yeah.
locals only right now. And so we have a bunch of clean stuff already. So
It's called Locals Only.
yeah, no, not locals only. What's it called? 15 minutes of fame.
I was gonna say because there's actually a show.
I think Up by You is locals only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Locals Only here, and then my show's called. So it's like a kind of a spin-off of this. So
Okay.
I started this. Well, so really quick, I had a show prior to this before I left the radio stations. It's called Alt Natives on Alt 92.1, and then the station flip formats. I left, and then I came back. So they wanted me to bring back a local show. So I'm like, why don't I want to have like this, and then like tell people to also like check out a show that's of a different name. So everything's kind of housed under the Popko project. So this is the podcast, and then so the radio thing is called the Popko Project Radio Experience.
Love that.
kind of like trying to use my marketing brain and kind of just keep the branding kind of similar. So yeah, I do that on Fuzz 96.1 on Saturdays from 9 to 10. So would love to feature you guys on that too. I'll get you an extra 5 listeners as well there. So 5 listeners or 5 new
Down in
viewers on
total,
the
right?
5 new viewers on the podcast, 5 listeners on the radio show, and we'll get you guys to the moon before you know it.
We appreciate that.
Guys,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Merry Christmas to you guys.
You as well.
Merry Christmas.
I should say
Yeah.
happy holidays. I don't know if you guys are all into the whole.
I think
You
we
know.
all are.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah, I
Merry
think we're all-
Christmas.
Happy
Yeah, we're all
Kwanzaa.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Happy
Yeah,
New
thank
Year.
you.
And
Yeah.
let's stay in touch. Again,
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't ever go into this stuff, with expectations, but I don't think I was expecting the conversation to go the way it did tonight. And I'm really appreciative of how it went and what we discussed. And yes, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
man.
you.
If I could have you for
Thank
2
you.
seconds after we're done, after I hit stop, I'll just take 2 seconds and then
Yeah.
let you guys go. It's getting late, so.
Absolutely.
Lives Lost. Find them on socials everywhere. Stream their music.
Lives Lost Band.
Lives Lost Band. Stream their music. Spotify, Apple. I'm sure there's everywhere.
Everywhere, baby.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you.
Mhm.